Can you see the presentation now?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to start here now. Guys, welcome to this Zoom webinar. It's hosted by our company KMI Tours. And I would like to welcome Mr. Deepak Gupta, aka Mountain Man. Uh, so first of all, a little bit about our company. We are actually a motorcycle tour operator company, but we are basically bulk operators. So we have presence in more than 4 countries ourselves, with head offices located in Delhi and Beijing, and we have been catering to 16 plus super biking clubs and various brands of dealerships in India. Like you can see the pictures, so you'll see some pictures from the Indian groups and Chinese groups, and we have various dealerships that are working with us in India and China, like BMW, Ducati, Honda, Triumph, Yamaha, so on. So let's move on with the presentation. Our first guest speaker is Mr. Deepak Gupta, aka Mountain Man. He has been riding for a very long time, almost 3 decades of riding experience he has. And he has clocked nearly about 12 lakh kilometers, which is 1.2 million kilometers. He's an active rider of one of the oldest group of superbiking clubs in India, group of Delhi Superbikers. Now, I would like to hand over the presentation to Mr. Gupta, and he will continue over with his Polar Odyssey that he just completed the trip. And then we'll be opening up for question and answers later on. And the second guest speaker that we'll have is from GV. GV is an Italian company, so GV is very new to India. They make all these accessories, bags, and luggage systems for all kind of adventure tours. So we'll have guest speaker Mr. Mohit Chaudhary, who is the manager sales from GV India, and he'll be coming up later on, so you can ask questions to him as well. So Deepak Gupta ji, handing over to you the presentation.
Sure. Next. Preet, can you just shorten the screen? Presentation screen, just shorten it a little bit.
Is it fine?
Oh, oh yes. Oh yes. Okay. 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 So hello guys. Thank you all for joining today and sparing time to listen to my stories. One of my last international adventure and the big ride of my life was Bajaj Dominar Polar Odyssey, which was from Arctic to Antarctica. I hope you all can hear me. Okay, okay. Then this adventure was taken by 3 motorcyclists, which covered 51,000 kilometers in 99 saddle days. Took 5 months nearly, and 15 countries and 3 continents, which comes to almost 515 kilometers average daily. And yes, we could see all the terrains which a rider can dream of riding on in this entire journey of 51,000 kilometers. The 15 countries which I covered was Canada, USA. From USA, we entered to Mexico, then Guatemala. Then the next 3 countries were Honduras, Nicaragua, and El Salvador. These were the 3 countries which we covered in one day, because these countries were absolutely in turmoil at those times, and hardly there was nothing. I can't say nothing to see, but yes, we had shortage of time, so we had to cross over these countries in one day. Then from there we went to Costa Rica and then reached Panama. If you can see on the map, Panama is where we had to either take the Darien Gap, or we had to airlift our bikes to Colombia. So we chose the air route because we were running short of time. We had a specific time in our mind frame, and we airlifted our bikes from Panama to Colombia. Then from Colombia, we went into Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, then Chile, and finally into Argentina, which was the end of the world, Ushuaia. So this was the journey which we took as per the map you can see. And on the Arctic Circle, you can see on the top, if you see, we did the Arctic Circle on the Canadian side as well as the USA side. As you can see in the photographs on the slide as well, Dalton Highway was the first toughest road which we faced on the very second day of our ride. So the Dalton Highway is supposed to be the 6th most toughest road in the world, not due to the terrain only, because of many features, because of the climate, because of roads, because of absolutely nothingness. You have just the wild animals as your company, and a few, I would say, mad people like us who love to travel, who love to explore the extremes. So we three were all uh, by each other's side, and we had absolutely no backup on our journey. To clear that, we had no backup. We were the engineers ourselves. We serviced the bikes, we repaired the bikes ourselves, all by ourselves. Yes, due training by the Bajaj was given to us, and the motorcycle which we took was the Bajaj Dominar 400cc, and which absolutely ran flawless throughout the 51,000 kilometers journey. If in total we see three bikes combined, we did 150,000 kilometers plus, and absolutely no breakdown and no trouble. Yes, we had to change the running consumables in due course of times, and other than that, yes, technically the machine gave us no problems. Preet, next. So we shipped our bikes from Bajaj, Pune, Mumbai to Alaska. So as you can see in the leg one, we landed in Alaska. The bikes had reached 3 days before our landing by air. There we again uh, fixed our bikes, because the bikes cannot be airlifted with the as it is. The coolant, the engine oils, certain parts have to be drained out, batteries have to be removed. So we fixed our bikes in Alaska and started our journey from Alaska all through US and Canada. Then leg 2 was Canada, then leg 3 was Preet, can you just shorten it? A little bit, because little bit more. Yes. Then
Okay.
first 2 months of our ride, we were just shuffling between US and Canada, and the riders generally on this route, Ushuaia, Alaska to Ushuaia, take Pan American One highway, which is roughly 25,000 plus kilometers. But we had a figure in our mind while deciding this journey, that we will do 51,000, at least 50,000 plus kilometers in 4 months' time. But due to a small accident in Vancouver with one of our bikes, we had to delay our journey by at least 16 to 17 days. So we took 5 months and covered 51,000 kilometers. So this is our journey. As you can see, first leg was Alaska, Canada, second was Canada, third was US again. So we were just crisscrossing the borders between US and Canada in the first 2 months. Then we entered Central America through Mexico through Tijuana border, and we covered then Mexico at Guatemala, and El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, as you see. Then we entered to South America, from where we did Colombia to Argentina. Next, please. So next is, these are some of the milestones we achieved during this journey. First is uh, Bajaj Dominar was the first bike, Indian bike, to be there on the Antarctica. Yes, you cannot ride on in Antarctica, but as a symbolic gesture, one of the bikes and one of the riders went on a ship just to uh, step on Antarctica and create a landmark. Then we covered some of the roads like James Dalton Highway in US, the Dempster Highway in Canada, which both are the sixth most dangerous roads in the world. Then we covered the Atacama Desert in Chile and the Death Road of Bolivia, which is supposed to be the second most dangerous roads in the world. Then we passed through some of the loneless. Uh, uh, Please, just a second. Can I move my this? Yes, 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 yes. Now I'm fine. Then we pass uh, the definition of the most dangerous roads is not only that the roads are really tough. It is, as I told you, many other factors: the temperatures, the rain. Like in Death Road in Bolivia, it was the Amazon jungles, which is full of rains and jungles and waterfalls. and steep slopes. We started from 16,000 plus altitude, and we dropped down to 2,300 altitude. So such is the difference of altitudes in short span of time. Then we were the first Indians, I can assure you, on Indian motorcycles, which covered from Tuktoyaktuk, which covered from Inuvik to Tuktoyaktuk. That was the road which is not being shown on the Google as well. So that road just opened 3 months prior to our visit, and we were the first Indians to lay our foot on Tuktoyaktuk, which is also called as the land of Pingos. And then we covered Route 66. Then we covered a portion of Bolivian Dakar Rally route, desert roads. Next, please. So these are some of the milestones to name. And you can see our videos as well on YouTube by the, if you type Dominar Polar Odyssey, you can find our series of 7 or 8 videos, which will cover our entire journey. Please, next. How to travel international? Yes, this is the most toughest question in the minds of rider when traveling international comes to his or her mind. So first is how to have the documents ready, planning, then which motorcycle to take, then the problems we can face while on the journey. So it took us, this project was conceptualized by Dominar, and Dominar roped in Deepak Kamath from Bangalore. Then the rest of the team formed shape. Bajaj, then myself and Avinash from Bangalore. We three then started the planning. The documents required in this journey are important is first of all the passport of yourself, then this passport of the bike, which is called the Carnet de Passage, and then you need the necessary visas of all the countries which are en route of your journey. So we had to take visas of US and Canada, which was the most toughest, but somehow we were lucky, we got them with absolute no problems. Then when you have US and Canada visas with you, then most of the countries will allow you with those visas. You just have to check at the border and they'll give you the entry. Then we took the Brazilian visa, the Chile visa, the Argentinian visa, and the Uruguay visa. So these were the visas involved in our journey. Then the Carnet de Passage, yes, for the bike, we took it for 1 year. And most of the countries would require Carnet de Passage. And there is a forum of countries. It is given in that forum, which are the countries are the part of that Carnet de Passage. In US and Canada, we did not require this Carnet de Passage. If one wishes to do US and visa, then the Carnet de Passage is not required. But yes, to leave the bike, the bike to leave India, you need, there is this certain requirement by the Indian government. You need to have the Carnet de Passage. Then we had to plan our journey in such a way that because some of the countries give visa only for a specific time, either for 15 days or for 20 days. Generally it would be a 15 days, but we would need multiple entry visas, and the countries gave only single entry visas. So we had to really prepare our plan thoroughly, present it to the counselors in certain way. The most difficult was the Argentinian visa, because they said, though, we cannot give you multiple entry visa, because if you're going to Ushuaia, then there are parts wherein you would have to exit from Chile, enter Argentina, then again exit from Chile, then again enter Argentina. So we had to exit and enter Argentina at least 5 times. So yes, I had to park myself in Argentinian embassy for 2 days, and then I could get a hearing from the counselor there. And then she, after listening to my plans, then she said, okay, bring your team to Delhi. I'll grant you a special visa, which will allow you to enter multiple times. So yes, this is a little bit of the documents side. Yeah, Preet, next. Yep. So planning a trip, this is the foremost thing. A rider, while planning the trip, should know certain things, the climatic conditions, uh, when would it be summers, when it would be winters, when it would be rainy, because that's how you would plan your things you would carry with along with you. So we started our planning almost a year in advance. Then things started shaping after 6 months. Then uh, last 3 months went only in running after the embassies, the external affairs ministry, the getting the paperwork in order. Then the essentials to carry on a trip is toolkits, consumable parts as per motorcycles, air pump and spares. Yes. So toolkits, my bike was the bike, most important bike, because it carried the toolkits. We knew what were the major spanners and sizes of the spanners would be required on this motorcycle. So I used to carry the toolkit, complete toolkit with us. Then the consumable parts, yes, like tires. We knew that somebody would be flying to Vancouver, and by that time we would have done almost 8,000 plus kilometers and covered two of the most dangerous roads, that is the Dalton and the Dempster Highway. So that fellow was carrying this set of spare tires for us. The rest of the tires we changed on the go and purchased on the go. Yes, the brake pads, because US and Canada, Bajaj is not present. So we had to keep in mind that doing 20,000, 25,000 plus kilometers in US and Canada alone, we would need some spares like chain sets, brake pads. We kept clutch and race cables as spares, but they were never needed. Yes, we changed brake pads, we changed chains. Uh, then we carried Castrol oil as well, engine oil with us for the first service. And air pump, yes, that was the most necessary part which we carried. And spares, we, after consultation with Bajaj and after the training and getting to know the bike thoroughly, we jot down a list of spares which we would need, and carried those spares divided equally in the three motorcycles so that the balance of weight is there. Then we had Bajaj standing by us, that if any need be, the spares would be airlifted and sent to us. That was the most important support we had in case of the breakdown and non-availability of spares. In Central America and the last part leg of the journey, we knew Bajaj is there, and we had Bajaj company had tied up with those countries, with those service centers, and we got the required servicing done of those bikes. That was all which we needed. No major changes except the requirement of the spares at Vancouver when the accident happened on the black motorcycle. The third part here in the is given the vehicle insurance. To our bad luck, just a month, just 20 days prior to our start of our journey, the agency in US which used to do the insurance for non-US motorcycle registered motorcycles, they stopped giving insurance to all those motorcycles which were non-registered in US. So yes, we had difficulty in getting the insurance from India. No underwriter was ready to give us the insurance, but somehow we managed to get an insurance. But now, yes, I got to know that last 3 months back or 4 months back, there is another company which has again started giving insurance after a gap of 2 years. US and Canada, uh, we were virtually traveling, riding on the Indian insurance. We never knew whether we would be covered or not. That was dicey, I would say. Luckily, nothing happened, so I can't comment on that. But yes, on the borders, the Mexican, the Chile, the Argentinian, we were supposed to buy the insurance at the borders. Even if we had the insurance from India, but we were supposed to buy insurance from the borders, the country we were entering in. Now, the, next is riding gear. Should I be carrying along? You know the kind of temperatures you would be riding in. So we were carrying the all the three layers with us, the raincoat with us. The shoes were waterproof, but yes, we had to change the shoes. We had to buy the shoes in Colombia. Those shoes could not last till Colombia. We were riding in extreme rains for almost uh, major part of the journey. And every country where we reached, they said this is in 15 years that we are seeing this kind of rains. So the next slide says, which motorcycle should I take on the international trip? Yes, that's the most important question which came to our mind before deciding which bike we should take on this trip. As you know, in India, the Royal Enfield is the most important bike considered, but that to us had a strong negative point that it had the tires with tube. So where this is where Bajaj came in, it had the perfect sitting posture, the perfect. It had the tubeless tires which we were looking on. So and I would say we were looking at somewhere around 350 to 600 cc bikes, nothing more than that, because we knew we were doing some hard terrains. So we never wanted extreme big bikes, wherein if in case of fall we won't be able to lift them up on an individual level. Then what modifications should I make to my motorcycle before the trip? We kept the machine in stock condition. Yes, the certain protective safety accessories were added so that in the case of fall, the bike, there is no damage to the bikes, which was supported by Zana motorcycles in Delhi. And how much spares should I carry? I have covered, I think, that part. How much spares should I carry? Should I? Yes, Mank. Which tires did you use during the trip? Just a second. Should I travel solo? Yeah, the tire we did on the first leg of the journey, we did Pirelli Scorpion 50/50. Then when we were doing US plain roads, we had the normal road tires. Then again we took 50/50 tires. We bought it in I think in Los Angeles. Then should I travel solo or in a group? That's a question which would need quite a long discussion. I am a solo as well as a group rider, but I would say a solo journey has its own shortcomings. A person should start a journey solo if he has tried it in the country. Or first he should try it in our own country, because riding solo is not an easy task. For a long distance like this, 51,000 kilometer, I would always prefer at least two people should be there. So what type of tires I have covered, how to service the motorcycle I have covered, because we took training from Bajaj. We used to do service ourselves. We used to replace the chain sets, the brake pads, everything ourselves. So next. Problems faced. So first is the language barrier. How tough is to drive with the on this road? Rishi, you have asked how tough is it to drive on the wrong side of the road. Rishi, as I told you, I have a long experience of riding and driving. My first international journey was in 1985. So I am used to both sides of driving, and being a member of Gods, we in Gods undertake one international ride every year. And I have been traveling quite a lot and riding and driving in all the countries. So for me, it was not a difficult task. But for a rider, I don't think he would ever face great difficulty, because after 2 or 3 days, he will get used to that kind of riding. And one should at least go through the rules and laws of that country, riding rules and laws, so that he or she should not be fined or challaned there, because they are very strict. You won't find a traffic police there or anybody there, but yes, you would get a challan or you would get caught the moment you commit any mistake. Language barrier, in those days, when I visited Rome in 1985, it was really a tough task. And but nowadays Google Translator is there, so Google Translator was the best help we could get. Food habits and cultural shocks, yes, we are traveling as riders. When we travel across countries, across borders, we travel just to explore the foods, the cultures, the dresses, in terms of border crossing. Yes, Tanveer, I'll come to your question in a moment. Then we were when we were planning this journey, I was the only one who was a total vegetarian, absolute vegetarian. Yes, used to take eggs on our ridings in here, but in home at home I am a pure vegetarian. But I had absolutely no doubts in my mind. I was very clear that I am going on an adventure, and I would have to eat anything and everything, whatever is available there. So in the first 15 days, I ate anything and everything which Avinash ordered. I had everything: beef, pork, ham, turkey, fish, caribou, anything you name it, I had it. And so that one has to be ready, because in the later part, in Costa Rica or in Peru or in Bolivia, yes, food is hard to get. Then homesickness and international telephone bills. Homesickness, yes, homesickness you feel sometimes, because even if we are three people connected on the Sena Bluetooth, still some moments came when we used to think why the hell we are doing this journey. But that is for a short time. Very soon you overcome when you see some beautiful scenery, or you see experience something beautiful. And international telephone bills, we carry three apparatus with us, which had the internet. We paid roughly 18,000 per month for the internet usage, uh, unlimited internet usage, and 90% I would say we never faced any difficulty in getting the signals. Then changing itinerary and bookings in the all future countries due to weather, sickness, accident. Yes, we never ever booked a room in advance. We were traveling on the go. We had a monthly itinerary, we had a weekly itinerary, we had a daily itinerary, depending on the journey we have covered in the past and journey we have to cover in the future. We would make a change in the daily itinerary and fix the route, fix the deadline that by the end of the day we would cover this much of kilometers. And the last 50 or 70 kilometers before reaching the destination, we would open up the bookings.com and open the and book our space. So we had no prior bookings throughout our journey. And CMT, KMI Tools, Preet is a very good friend and a very wonderful person. Preet was always there at the back end, in case of any problem. He would, I have so many questions coming up. If you can reserve those questions for the question answer session.
Guys, we'll be going in for a question and answer soon. So let's complete the slide and then we'll be going for question and answers.
So KMI Tours were always at the back end, monitoring our journey, and it was such a support, back end support. It was the backbone of our trip, and we were confident even if we are stuck, we have somebody at the back end to take care of us and provide us the necessary required relief or help. And in some of the cases, we would pre the company would be knowing our itinerary, and they would do the bookings on the go. And in some cases, like when the accident happened, the all the itinerary went haywire. So the company was very helpful in arranging or shifting our you can say itinerary, and help us to get the accommodation on the go. In some places, we would arrange it on the go because we had some places we reached in the middle of the dead night, somewhere around 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So we would arrange our rooms in some places on ourselves as well. Next, due to weather sickness, luckily, all the three riders were healthy, hale and hearty throughout the journey. And the only accident which happened in Vancouver, the rider was not injured. Yes, the bike was injured really hard. If you can see in the slide, there, damage. From Vancouver, riders from Vancouver, the Sikh Riders Club, they helped um, fixing up this bike, and we hammered and chiseled and whatnot in those 10 days. The parts were sent by Bajaj, and then we fixed up this bike and carried on the journey. Yes, Preet, next. Yeah, now the questions and answers. I think if you can take one by one, if you Preet, you have the questions in sequence, then I can answer the questions, and probably this will clear all the doubts in the minds
Guys,
of
you can
riders.
go ahead and start asking questions if you want to plan for a world tour or any international tour
Yes,
anywhere in
I
the
have
world.
I have the question from on screen from photographer on bike. Hi, buddy. The total cost of the journey. Yes, it was something to the tune of 80 lakh plus the total cost, which was mostly covered by the sponsors. There were 5 sponsors, major sponsors on board. The Bajaj was the title sponsor. The Bosch was the co-sponsor. Then we had Zana as the safety and accessory partner. Then we had Castrol Oil. Then at the back end, we had Care My Tour trip, Care My Tours, Nikhil. Uh, Deepak ji, as a rookie or starting new international road trips, is it advisable? I couldn't read the question clearly. Okay, I'll go to the chat. Just a second. So Deepak ji, what were the issues faced by? Okay, I'll go to the questions. This question is from Tanveer saying, "Hi Tanveer, thank you for asking the question. This question says, Deepak ji, what are the issues faced by your team in terms of border crossing and getting fuel in South and Central America?" Yes. US and Canada was border crossings were piece of cake, absolutely 2 minutes job. Just had to show our passports and get it stamped and move on. Yes, the other countries, the border crossings used to take roughly 1 to 2 hours. The major problem we had at was at the Nicaragua border crossing. We had to sit for almost 7 to 8 hours, and there, yes, we would say there was racism as well, and there was trouble. There was one mistake from our end also. We skipped, in spite of all the planning, we skipped a part wherein we had to inform 1 week in advance that we would be crossing the border. So the only problem we had that was the Nicaragua borders. Yes, all the other borders we had done our homework very well. Our papers were in place, so absolutely no issues in the border crossing. Only border crossing issues was that thing. And uh, why is it? Just a second. The things are going on. I think that question is answered. Kindly mute anyone. Uh, So Deepak ji, Rishi, why is it such a issue? Mean there is no clarity about cost and issuance from Cornet de Passage. Rishi, that is why I am here in front of you. My general perception about the riders who have done international rides is that they don't want to share the information. You may ask any number, any amount of questions. I would answer it to the best of my knowledge. The Carnet de Passage is issued by Mumbai. The office is in Churchgate. And at the moment, the fees for Carnet de Passage is 1 lakh plus taxes plus 150% of the cost of the bike has to be deposited as a security. So these two are the cost related answers I have answered, and it is issued from two places. First is Mumbai, second is Delhi. Delhi is not doing any job, I would say. So the only office left is Churchgate office in Mumbai. So Arunab De, is Carnegie Passage country specific? If so, does this mean one needs to procure this for each country separately? No. Carnegie Passage is the passport for the bike. It is equivalent to the passport, like you need a passport to travel. So Carnegie Passage is passport for the bike to travel. There are number of pages issued in the Carnegie Passage. It is a 25-page Carnegie Passage or a 50-page Carnegie Passage. The country which required Carnegie Passage, there you have to present the Carnegie Passage document. They will stamp the Carnegie Passage document, and at the exit they will take the 75% of that page, and the only the slip would be left with you at the exit. Or there is a central agency where you can apply. I have answered that. Yes, next is total of cost. I have done. Nikhil Joshi. Hi Nikhil. As a rookie or starting new international road trips, is it advisable to do couple of trips in a four-wheeler just to experience with international crossings? Nikhil, that depends on a traveler to traveler. I would say the mode of traveling, it is irrespective of the mode of traveling, because the formalities are the same for a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler. It's only the cost which would increase in a four-wheeler. Rest, the formalities are absolutely the same. Cost is different, certainly, for the Carnegie Passage as well as the traveling cost. The next question is, Ketan, what's different changed from your first international trips in 1985 and now? Ketan, traveling internationally was much easier in the earlier times. In 1985, getting the visas was easy. Traveling, the checkings, the after these 9/11 and incidents like these, traveling is become getting the visas has become a difficult job. Your papers have to be perfectly in order, and it is up to the embassy whether they would issue the visa or not. It is your luck. You have to keep your fingers crossed till the last country you wish to visit, you get the visa. Even if our Argentina visa was denied, our trip was over before the start. So you need to have all the visas in place of the countries you intend to visit. How easy, 1+60, how easy is to get sponsor for the trip? That's a very, very tricky question, buddy. Getting sponsors is absolutely, trust me, it is absolutely difficult. And nowadays it is getting tougher day by day. So nothing more I can say about. You need to be certainly a good rider and a known figure first to approach and to accept your application. Abhi, hi Abhi, I am planning to ride solo on Ruta 66 this September. How difficult are fuel stops accommodation? Abhi, I would advise just go and do this ride. This is every rider's dream to do Route 66 in US. The terrain is absolutely fine. You have to be very, very careful about your speed limits. You have to be very careful on a two-wheeler that you remain in your lanes, because the trucks go past. There are 18-wheeler trucks which go past at high speeds, and you are tend to be blown off your riding track. So fuel stops and accommodation is easy to find. Absolutely not an issue. Galaxy Note 10. What currency did you carry and how did you manage currency exchange? We were carrying credit cards from here. Plus, we were carrying American dollars, which are easily changeable in all the countries. So next is, you check this website for Carnegie Passage. Okay. So
guys, any more questions you have?
So next is, I think I had certain countries. Yes, I missed this part. The most generally the countries don't ask for international driving license, IDL, but I have carried my international driving license all the time whenever I have traveled abroad, and which is very easy to get. You should have first the Indian license in a digital form with a chip. Digital license is necessary. Then you can apply in your local RTO for the international driving permit. You would need only certain documents which are easy to get, and you can get the international driving license easily. Just a second. The questions are coming in fast. Real. Carnegie Passage. Deepak ji, I have heard that certain countries do not accept CDP, but they accept ATA Carne. Vignesh, I am not aware of the CDP or the ATA Carnes. I am aware that yes, as per my research, you need only the Carnegie Passage CDPs for all the countries. ATA, I am not aware of, because by the end of this 10th of May, I was supposed to ride from Delhi to Norway. Again, I had applied for Carnegie Passage in that same Churchgate office in Mumbai. But bad luck, due to COVID, that plan is now put on hold for at least a year. Next is Ranjit Chogle. You have written, was all the journey done during daytime? Thank you. Ranjit, we had planned our journey in such a way that by the end of the daylight, we would take a halt. But 40% of the time, we used to end up either 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, because one reason or the other, as you told, the biggest culprit was the rain. And we never stopped because of rain. But yes, our speeds slowed down because of that. And on an average, how many hours you guys were riding daily? So Vikram, your question, to the answer to your question, in US and Canada, riding 100 kilometers, we used to keep it in our mind that in 1 hour we would do 100 kilometers, and we used to do, if we had to cover 700 kilometers, it would take 7 hours of riding time. So plus the breaks you used to take. In the other countries, they are same as India, rather worse than India. But yes, we were riding more than 12 hours daily. More than 12 hours daily on the road, we were there. iPhone, did you face severe crosswinds or storms on the way? You have asked such a questions. I have goosebumps just hearing that, seeing that question. After reaching Ushuaia, we were supposed to go back to Buenos Aires, where our agent was there who would pick up the bikes and ship them again back to India. So that was the worst part. The winds would literally, so you are going at 80 and the winds would throw you at least 6 feet. We were riding almost at 20-25 degree angle, and it is not that you are riding in one, the winds are in one direction for 300 or 400 or 500 meters, the wind is blowing from left to right. You would never know, suddenly the wind would start blowing from right to left. So you had to be really, really careful. With so much of weight, we were really very, very careful. Those were the most, I would say, the toughest part of the entire 51,000 kilometers, riding in extreme crosswinds. That was in Argentina. So did you face crosswinds? I have answered to that question. Share this value. You had a support. Yes, Harish Shastri. You have mentioned you had a support car, or did you carry all the luggage on your bike? Do you have a checklist on what to carry? Very important question you asked, Harish. As I mentioned, we were there, 3 riders on our own, absolutely no support in terms of technical or a support car. We 3 guys were on our own, doing the filmings on our own, doing everything on our own. The luggage, which if you have seen our bikes in the in the slide, the 70% to 75% of the luggage in the panniers was spare parts and photography equipment. Only 20 to 25% was our personal belongings. You have mentioned, do you have a checklist on what to carry? You may leave your undies and your pants or your t-shirts, but you should carry your necessary spare parts which you would require for the journey. So those were important. So rest, it depends on the journey to journey and the rider to rider. So I was carrying only 10 my luggage space. I think I was carrying only 10% space, my personal belongings. So if you have asked for a list, my personal list was, I survived the day. I remember we boarded the flight from Mumbai to Alaska on 13th of July, 23rd of July. The socks which I wore on 23rd of July, I removed those pair of socks after the completion of a journey. When I came back home, I used only one pair of socks. I used only one underwear during the entire journey. I I used bare minimum clothes because that was a test for me, and I'm glad I passed. I used to daily wash my underwear and socks in the night. That's how I used. I had a spare socks and underwear, but that was a challenge given taken by myself, that I would use the bare minimum clothing and possible. So I can travel anywhere in the part of the world with just a laptop bag. And I do that here. People who ride with me or know me, they know very well that I travel with bare minimum luggage. So next is, any untoward incident of theft, getting mugged or any theft. Ram, this is an important question because in recent episode where three girls were riding, one lady was robbed of the passport and everything. Then the two bikes were stolen. I would say we were very, very careful during our journey, where to go, where to move about. Our tourists should know their limits and foundations. They should have done their homework very well, which are the bad portions you should not visit. And we would, in some places, we would get a night accommodation for $10, a room for $10, but we would take a room for $120 because we wanted a very, very safe parking, closed parking for our bikes, because for us, bikes was the most important part. So it depends on you, how careful you are. Theft, mugged, or threat is everywhere in any part of the country, in any part of the world. I would say India is no different in that case. In यहाँ पर भी तो हम बड़े careful रहते हैं अपनी bikes और अपने सामान के साथ. Incidents तो यहाँ पर भी होते हैं. So Rishi, again you have a question. Do you suggest a simple bike for international travel like a Himalayan, etc., or the Tiger, or a GSA type? I have covered a little bit on that. My personal choice would be to go on a 350cc bike to 750cc bike. Those are the ideal cc's of a bike, according to me, which you should take. But throughout our journey, BMW 1200 GS was the most seen bike. Riders were using those bikes. It depends on the rider's comfort level with the bike, the equation with the bike, how comfortable he is with the bike. So that is the rider's prerogative. But generally, I would advise, my personal choice would be 350cc to 750cc bike. So the next question is for Manu Joseph. Manu, use writing, did you require any special documents for air transport, or was carnet document suffice? And what are the boxing requirements for air transport, and did you manage this in locations which were? Manu, first is special. There are no special documents. You need the bill for the bike, the RC for the bike, the insurance of the bike, and the carnet de passage for the bike. These are the major documents which you require. Boxing requirement says, for airlifting, you cannot have battery inside the bike. You cannot have engine oil, the coolant, no liquid, and no batteries. So you have to remove everything and then then box the bike, pack it in polythene and all. Plus the both careful you are while packing, the more safe the bike would reach at your destination. How did you manage this in locations which were stops and route? As I told you, we airlifted our bike from Mumbai to Alaska. From there, we were totally on the bike till Panama. The only journey the bike took from there was Panama to Colombia, because we did not wanted to waste 10 days in covering the Darien Gap. So we airlifted from Panama to Colombia, again did the process, packed the bikes, then again repacked the bikes, got the custom clearance, took us 2 days to clear the bikes and again refix the bikes. So Ram, is it safe traveling post sunset in Central and South America? I would say in my 30, 32, 33, I would say 80 to 30, past 35 years of experience in riding, I haven't come across any bad incident. And I am a night traveler. To tell you, since ages, I have been starting my journey only in the night. I cover maximum distances in the night and see the place in the day and again start my journey in the night. This is my regular routine, and we never faced any untoward incident in any of the places. We were really careful with that. Did you guys camped anywhere? Yes. uh, Me and Avinash camped in US in the national parks. In spite of raining or whatever, we camped. I am a camper guy. I would love to camp. How safe is it to go wild camping? You have to be, camping is in itself a very big subject. You have to be very, very careful about the terrain where you are camping, the wild animals in those areas you should be aware of, the temperatures, the rain, thunderstorm, many factors which you have to take into account. I would not suggest a rookie or a fresher to do wild camping. They should do camping in the designated spots. In everywhere in US and Canada, there are designated stops where you pay a minimum fees of $5 or $7. You can camp. They would designate you a spot where you can camp, and the toilets are there and the water is there. So the next question is, hi Harish, thanks for the comment, Harish. What percentage of cost was covered by all sponsors? The major cost was covered by the all the sponsors. The bike was provided by Bajaj. The spares was provided by Bajaj. The fuel cost was covered by Bajaj. The Bosch covered our accommodation and food, and then Zana covered our safety equipment. Major cost was covered by the sponsors. We are really grateful to our sponsors, with whose help we could cover this journey, a major landmark journey, I would say. Uh, Rajpal would like to ride with you, sir. Certainly, Rajpal, I am always there on the social media. I do reply to each and every question on the social media. You can ping me anytime. I am open to ride anytime, anywhere you wish. It's only we should gel very well. Rishi, will you be going doing a India to London anytime? Rishi, as I told you, I was supposed to start my journey from 10th May. We were two riders riding on two bikes from Delhi to Norway, covering more than 25 countries. But due to COVID, we had to cancel the plan. Now we plan to do this start journey next year. Uh, God forbid if the COVID goes back and we are again back on this international journey. Uh, then we have Ranjit Radhan. When you pack the bike and ship it, what do you do with the battery and fluids? Just a second. I'll have to take this call. Just a second, guys. हाँ जी आशु जी, आप आ जाए, मैं एक मीटिंग में हूँ, तो आप आ जाएं 7 बजे, 7 बजे तक मीटिंग खत्म हो जाएगी बेटा। फ्रॉम द अदर साइड, दूसरी तरफ से आओ बेटा, किचन में से। Yes, sorry, I had to take this call. This was important. I got my son married just 2 days back, so all the formalities. So when you pack the bike, hello, can you hear me, guys? Okay, when you pack, hello, Preet, can you hear me? Okay, when you pack the bike and ship it, what do you do with the battery and fluids? We have to remove the battery, pack it separately, and put it in that same crate. And fluids you have to remove and put in the new fluids in that port of entry. So we carried the battery with us in that same crate, and we were carrying the coolants and oils with us, which we poured in the bikes in the Alaska. So they are not allowed in the air. You have to remove the liquids, any sort of liquid in the bike and the battery. Uh, from iPad, what was the total cost to airlift the bike from Mumbai to Alaska? It For three bikes, it was within 6 lakh rupees. It was 5 lakh plus for airlifting. Rajpal would like to ride with you. Most welcome, Rajpal. Uh, and India to London, I am doing certainly this year. As I told you, I was supposed to do, but now I am doing next year. People who wishes to join me in the India to London ride can certainly ping me. And I was supposed to do this ride with the again with the Care My Tours. So if you want to do the India to London ride, you can ping me and ride along with me next year. The dates I cannot tell you right now. That depends on the condition of the countries post COVID. So, what protection were you will using on the rides? Hi, Jude. We were using the riding gears from Spartan, and they had specifically designed this series for us. And now those same riding gears are out for sale to the normal rider. So we were using the riding gears from Spartan Pro Gear, based in Chennai. Any superbike group in Mumbai like Gods or Gods Mumbai chapter is there? There is no chapter of Gods. We are based in Delhi only. But yes, I know there are many superbikers in Mumbai. Many of them. I know many of them. You can find them on social media, or if you are unable to, just ping me on my Facebook. I'll reply to you. Can you tell us a little about the different bikes you have been riding throughout the years? Do you have a personal favorite? Where is it? Where has the question gone? 7 Pro. Can you tell us a little? 1980 was the year when I first learned how to ride a bike by myself. That was in class uh, 10th. So there used to be a Rajdoot bike, which was called the Milkman's bike, 175cc. That was the first bike on which I learned my bike. Then the first bike which I bought was the Rajdoot Bobby in 1981 in class 11th, and I rode for 2 years in class 11th and 12th, and sold it. And now I repent selling that bike. That's a collector's bike now. So I did 55,000 kilometers on the in those 2 years on that bike. Then during the years I rode all the kinds of bikes which were there. The 100 cc's bike, the Yamaha 100, Yamaha 135, then Java, SD, Road King, Bullet. Certainly, I rode the early Bullets as well. Then the RD 350, the iconic bike. Then since then I have never ever lived without a bike for a single day. I cannot live without a two wheeler. Now I ride. I personally I own Royal Enfields, Dominar 390, Duke 390, Harley Davidson, Hayabusa, and ZX14R. I now don't intend to buy any more bikes because I am now riding most part of the year, and getting more very difficult to maintain the bikes while I am away. So the next question is from OnePlus T. Being a strict vegetarian myself, do we get time to cook and eat during the journey? Don't want to have pork and beef, sir. The answer to this question is very straightforward. We were running on a tight schedule time frame. We were very clear that we want to do 50,000 kilometers in 4 months' time. So there was no time for cooking and self-cooking. So that was not the choice which was available to us. But yes, if you have plenty of time, you plan it accordingly, then yes, you can camp, you can cook, you can do whatever you want in a place. Yogeshwar ji, good evening, namaskar. He is a very, very senior rider. Yogeshwar Ballaji, most of the part of the year he is in London. And when it is winters in London, he comes back to India and stays here. My respects to Yogeshwar ji, you and Auntie. Thank you for joining. How effective GPS was for completing your journey? Any failures or mishaps? As I told in my earlier narration, that 90% of the time the GPS was perfect, and we covered the entire journey using Google Maps. And next is, sir, what will be the experiment cost for Delhi to London ride? Look, if you are going on an organized trip, CareMy Travels is will do it in under 50 lakhs, but I think it will be somewhere around 11 lakhs or 12 lakh rupees. CareMy Tours has a travel plan for India to London, and I think they are giving it for 11 lakhs, which is a very, 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 very good price. I know my friends have done India to London in the past, and some companies are charging even 25 lakh rupees. And if you do it personally, one or two riders, then yes, the cost is per rider above 20 lakh rupees. But I am happy CareMy Tours have come up with a very, very this thing economical thing. Any other questions? Nishant would like to join you. My invitation is open to every rider whosoever wishes to join me in the coming Delhi to Norway or Delhi to London ride. Dates I cannot specifically let you know at this point of time. Yes, I'll be doing that ride next year, which I was unable to do this time. Any more questions? Yes, Rishi. Then it makes more sense to take a less expensive bike because of security deposit. Yes, it makes sense. And it depends on you also. If you can bring in rope in a big company like CareMy Tours or any travel agency, if they can give a guarantee to the Carne guys, this cost can be waived off. This security deposit can be waived off. Trust me, if the company is there, because in our case, Bajaj was there. Bajaj gave an undertaking to the Carne de Passage office that we are responsible for these riders, and our security deposit was waived off. Harish Shastri, please come online at least once a month, sir. Some of our ages, your riding experience. Thank you. Certainly, Harish, I would try to come online on and on. Tomorrow is my online session on Instagram. You guys can join me on Instagram tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Abhijit, for Carne now, what I know, we don't need security deposit. No, Abhijit. Till my last information, the security deposit is there. If any development has come up within the last month or 2 months, I am not aware of. But while preparing for my ride, I met the second in command of that office for trying to waive off the security deposit. But yes, it is there. Any other question? What is the route for India to London ride? How many days it would be? You can post your query to me on my WhatsApp or my social media or CareMy Tours. We would be more than happy to, rather Preetjik, if you can take care for that question, you can send in the detailed itinerary or something like that.
Yeah, I'll do one thing. We have a route plan, so I'll just post it over here for everyone. So just give me a moment while you're taking questions. I'll just show the route, how the route is supposed to be done for India to London. So yeah, by the meantime, you just do it. I'll show the picture.
Abhijit checked it with Debu and DJ. They never paid any deposits. As I told you, Abhijit, we also never paid any deposits. But for an individual, if he is doing the journey without the sponsors, security deposit is a must, which is refundable. That is refundable, and those guys are flexible with the security deposit depending on your profile. If the big companies are involved in sponsorship, then the security deposit, they waive off the security deposit. Yes, Debu and DJ never paid the security deposit. I know that. We also never paid the security deposit. Any more questions? Yes, I think CMT has uploaded something.
Yeah,
Vishal,
shared in the plan. So
okay.
this is the route. If you want any more detailed route, you can just mail us and we'll be more than happy to send it to you.
Vishal Vinayak, the Norway plan travel map you share, please. Vishal, at the moment, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. If you can ping me on my Facebook, I'll share that. That's my personalized travel itinerary. It depends on rider to rider how much time he wants to give to that ride and how much countries they want to visit and how much finance they are ready to spare for that ride. So I would love to share my itinerary. Then Rishi, what fitness levels one should have for a long ride? Very important question. First is, I have always believed if you think you can, then you can do it. You should have strong willpower. Secondly, yes, you should have a proper diet and a proper fitness level. I would say I am not a gymnast. I am not a gym person, but yes, I do walk for 5 to 10 kilometers daily. I have done many difficult tracks as well. That is why my name goes Mountain Man. And I do 5 kilometers in the morning, 5 kilometers in the evening. I eat very balanced diet. I do not eat fast food. I avoid that. And so eating habits and fitness, that is important for one. If you're not fit, then you are bound to lose your mental balance in such long journeys and loneliness. Yes. Any more questions?
Any more questions? I guess we should move on with Mr. Mohit Chaudhary then. Mohitji, I'm just going to unmute you.
Harish Shastri, I have done Norway. Harish, I did the Nordic countries, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, way back in 2013 and 2014. I've covered almost 20,000 kilometers in those countries. So as I told you, you can share, one can share his or her own itinerary, but as I told you, it depends on the rider, how much money he wishes to spend, how much time he wishes to spend, what countries and what trails he or she wishes to see.
Guys, is there any more questions or should we move on? I guess we should. Mohitji, now you are unmuted. So we'll be moving on to Mr. Mohit Chaudhary, who is the head sales for GV India.
Welcome, Mohit. Thank you, Mohit, for joining in.
Over to you, Mohit. Your voice is not audible properly. Mohit, your voice is not working. Maybe just remove that, the headphone. And use the normal, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Perfect,
Yes.
perfect.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, carry on, please.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hello, Preet.
Hi.
Thank you, Deepak ji. Thank you so much to hear from you. It was really nice.
Thank
Your experiences are really appreciable, and I really appreciate all the valuable information you have shared with all of us.
Thanks, Mohit, and thank you, Mohit. GV was one of the riding partner with us from Delhi to Norway rides.
Ah, that's so good to hear. All right, so I believe, okay. So, hello friends, hope you all are safe, and uh, let's pray to God first that this virus goes soon and we all will be on the roads on our motorcycles really soon. Okay, I will not waste much of the time. My name is Mohit Chaudhary, and I am sales manager for GV India. I believe a lot of us must be aware about this brand GV, since we all are into the motorcycle industry. But yes, I will explain a bit about this brand. GV is an Italian brand established in 1978, so almost 42 years old company, founded by a MotoGP pilot, Mr. Giuseppe Vicenzi, who was the third runner-up in 1969 350cc championships, and then he decided to quit his motorcycling racing world and entered into this entrepreneurship world. And thanks to him that he had this vision, he found this company, and because of him, we have got this beautiful company, this beautiful brand today, which is offering almost around 4,000 plus products, 4,000 plus adventure riding products, accessories, plus having presence in more than 60 countries now. So we are almost a global company having presence in more than 60 plus countries. Recently entered in India 6 months back. We launched officially our brand in IBW, Goa, wherein we had our booth. We showcased all our products. We had our motorcycles products displayed on the on Indian bikes, on the European bikes, and that's how we decided to take off, and we introduced our 3 distribution partners in India. So I would not waste much of the time. So the 3 distribution partners for us are in North India. We have got Extreme Automobiles, or we can say Kawasaki West Delhi, which is based out in Narayana, and they are our official distributors in North India. In western part of the country, we have Laziest Bikers in Mumbai, who are our official distributors. And then we have Bike and Biker in Bangalore, who are our official channel partner for South India. So that's how we have fragmented this country, and we have identified the need to launch all our product range in this country. I believe all of you must be aware that what all we make, but yes, to give a glimpse, we have a variety of products ranging from plastic top cases, side cases, aluminiums, LED lights, windscreens, puncture kits, mobile phone holders, jerry canes, backrest, side stand extensions, uh, uh, and a lot of different other variety of products like foot guards and engine guards, bash protectors, and sliders, radiators. So hello, my friend. Thanks for the question. Yes, Preet, is it okay if I answer all the questions at the end, or should I answer everything on a case-by-case basis? You are
Sorry,
mute.
I muted myself.
Yes,
It
yes.
is more than up to you. If you want to answer them right now, you can. So it's up to you. Not an issue.
Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me quickly finish this, and then I will come back on the question and answers. I hope everyone would agree on this. Okay, so this slide is basically one of the example wherein we are displaying to this audience about what all products we have for BMW R1250 GS. But yes, uh, apart from this, we have the products for almost every motorcycle in the world. Every means every, except very few motorcycles. And if I talk about the Indian motorcycles, we are almost working hard to find out the solutions for all the Indian brands like Royal Enfield, Dominars, and KTMs, and heroes, and everything. So almost we have succeeded in developing the fittings for Royal Enfields and Dominars. some other entry-level Indian motorcycles, we will be slowly and gradually we will be launching our products accordingly to these motorcycle brands. Okay, so starting from this image which you all are seeing on your screens, if we start from the tail, this is a top case, a basic aluminum top case, and the side cases. They are the Outback series, aluminum series, and are one of the most premium range in GV portfolio. Then at the back we have the flask, which can be fitted into these side cases. Then we have the tool boxes, which can be installed inside of a side case and in between the side case and the frame of the motorcycle. Then we have the jerry cans, which can be also installed on the side cases. Then we have side stand extensions, which can give the more surface area and more stability to the motorcycle when it's standing. Then we have oil carter protectors, intake manifolds, which are again the highly precision aluminum components, world-class products made in Italy and are now available in the country for the Indian consumers. Then we have these tank bags. We have a variety of tank bags from 6 liter till 30 liter. This is just an example again, basic 25 liter tank bag, which can be installed on any bike depending on the fitting rings of the tank bags. Then we have wind screens, again around 15 centimeter higher than the stock bikes, which gives more comfort while riding. And then we have these LED lights, which works as a spotlight thing. Then we have phone holders, and this is a very good utility stuff. At the top right corner, this is a hand guard with the hand cuffs. So at the extreme cold weathers, a rider can install these hand cuffs over the hand guards so that they won't feel much cold during the rides. So this is something which is for the extreme cold weathers in the country, especially for the extreme north Himalayas and somewhere like that. So again, this was just an example that what all we make, but yes, I cannot, I was not able to include all the products on this slide because we have got more than 200 plus products for 1250 GS. So getting everything on one slide is really difficult. So that's the reason I just selected few of the important products which are essential for an adventure tourer. Preeti, can you please move on to next slide?
Sure.
Okay, so this is a contest which we would like to run for this entire audience who is taking part in this session. Guys, please stay tuned to our Instagram and Facebook pages. In next couple of days, we will be running a contest, especially for this audience, wherein you all may get a chance to win some exciting products from GV. So that was all from my side. I would request everyone to please stay tuned to our social media pages, GV India, Instagram and Facebook, wherein you will be updated with all sort of latest launches in India, with availability, with pricing, with all the features, the products availability in different cities, everything. So that's it from my side. Now I will take the questions one by one.
Okay, guys, do you want to ask any question to Mr. Mohit Chaudhary? Mohitji, there are some on the chats. You can just read the chat and then answer them.
Yes. Okay. So, hi Mayank, you have asked that Shad makes a lot of products specifically for Bajaj models, such as Top Rack and their 3-piece side pannier system for Pulsars. Is GV planning to come out with products specifically for Bajaj products? So GV tank lock system is unique. However, we don't have a flames for Bajaj Dominar. When can we expect it in the market? Mayank, to answer your question for the luggage system, we already have the solutions for Bajaj models, for Bajaj Dominar and Pulsar, for the top box and the side cases, and they are available in the market. in the country. Okay. For the tank bags, yes, since the motorcycle is not launched internationally, our R&D team is working to find a solution for the tank bag. Hopefully, in next couple of months, we will be bringing up with the flange for the Bajaj Dominar. Okay. Nishant, looking for the extended windscreen for Tiger 800, I would suggest you to please drop us a message on our Instagram or Facebook. We will suggest you the nearest available dealer from you, so that you can go, or maybe you can place an order online and get this screen to your home. But yes, this is available in the country. Thank you, Deepak ji, for this nice compliment. Thank you so much. We were basically, you are muted. You are muted. You are on mute, sir.
Let me unmute.
Yes.
Okay.
I can only say regarding GV, बड़ी देर कर दी मेहर वहाँ आते आते इंडिया में. I have been traveling in so many countries, and I have been seeing only GV and only GV on the bikes. And but my only request is, if you can make the products a bit more reasonable. You have certain restrictions and problems because of the costing, but still I would request if you can provide Indian riders with a better rates of the GV products. I know these products are superb.
Sir, we are trying our level best to launch the products in the entire segment. So
Okay.
be it a 100cc rider or be it a 2000cc rider.
Yes.
We have these plans that all the motorcycle riders should be our customers in the country. So
Yes.
slowly and gradually, definitely, yes, we will be meeting the expectations of all the riders in this country.
I'm sure GV needs no introduction. If the riders who are traveling across the world, GV is a brand. GV is a brand. A rider would not choose anything other than the GV for the long distance rides.
Yes, sir, that's so nice of you, and I really appreciate it.
Okay, so any more questions? No?
Yes, there are a couple of more. I am just going through them. Rishiji, Mohiji, are all products generic of bike specific? What all products are available for Triumph Bonneville range? Rishiji, for the Triumph Bonneville range, I would request you to please go on gvmoto.com, select your motorcycle and model year, and our website will give you all the compatible products available for the Triumph Bonneville. Once you select those products, you can accordingly check with the local distributor, or you can also check with us from our social media page, and we will confirm you the availability and the MRP. Tejinder Pal Singh ji is asking which riding accessories are available for Triumph Thunderbird Storm. Again, Tejinder ji, as explained earlier, that all the accessories are available in the country. It's just that you have to go on the website gvmoto.com, select your motorcycle and model year, and select what all products you want. Accordingly, just check with us on our social media, Instagram, and we will confirm you the availability and MRP as per your nearest dealer. Ranjit Rantanji, what's the site address to go through the products available in India? Sir, right now we have not started the online business through GV India. 3 of our distributors mentioned on the website are doing the online business. But yes, for all the products related queries and the pricing related queries, please drop us a message on our Instagram, and we will be happily assisting you with all the products availability, the dealerships, and the pricing. OnePlus 60, my friend, what about the warranty of your products? Well, it depends that which product you are asking about. For example, the boxes generally have the 2 years warranty. The helmets have 5 years warranty, and almost all the accessories have different kind of warranties. So the windscreens have 1 year warranty, the phone holders have 1 year warranty. So it's like that. All the different products have different warranty claims. Do
Here,
you?
Mohit, I would like to add for the international riders, on behalf of all international riders, I would like to thank GV for the kind of support you give. Even if the rider is away from their home country, the GV would replace the products in that country or arrange to dispatch the product if the product has gone faulty. Thank you very much,
Yes,
GV, for
yes.
that kind of support to the riders.
Thank you, sir. And we have done that in the past, and
Yes,
we are ready to do that for the Indian consumers as well.
yes, yes. I have
Uh,
no doubts.
okay, Ranjit ji, what's the site address to go through the products available in India? Again, as I answered, right now we have not started online yet. You can check on our social media, and we will confirm you the nearest distributor so that you can go to their website and can shop the products. Okay, online thing, Manu Joseph ji, I believe I have answered your question that why we are not selling online, because we have just started our operations, and initially we have started the business through our distributors. Slowly and gradually we will be bringing up the products on our own social website. I'm okay. OnePlus 60, my friend. I mean, do they have global warranty? Yes, the products are covered under global warranty, but uh, it depends that what kind of global warranty you are seeking. Generally, this happens rarely, but yes, we accept the global warranty clauses.
Okay, that's it.
I
What?
believe,
It seems so. It seems so.
I
Okay.
believe, yes.
So lastly, let me just close this slide, and there you go. Stop share. All right. So guys, there was few questions to me on private that they were asking me for, that they want to connect with Deepak ji again. So I'm just going to open the floor for Mr. Deepak ji. And if you have any questions again, please do ask them. Let me just do it once more. Yeah, guys, can you just message?
I'm
There
there
were a
to
few
answer.
questions.
Even if you
No, I
have
guess.
questions after the telecast, you can obviously go back to Care My Tours, or you can always ping me.
Yes.
I would
Okay.
certainly reply.
So let me just share the channel for social media again, and you can just note down. So I have given you the YouTube channel for Care My Tours, and you are most welcome to download or share this Zoom webinar from them. So let me just share the screen so you can note down the social media channels for everyone. Can you see them? Yes, perfect. So these are the social media channels. So Mr. Deepak Gupta, his Instagram handle. Then you have his Facebook for KMI Tours for Instagram, Facebook. Then GV India, you can Instagram them or get the local dealership that you want, nearby. And it was really a pleasure having you guys on for this Zoom webinar. And I hope that you have learned something, and it was fruitful for you guys.
On behalf of the riding community, I would like to thank you, Preet, for organizing a first of its kind seminar and involving the GV as a brand, because it will be bring the riding community more closer and the component companies more closer to the riding community. I would request you to keep on doing such kind of seminars and such kind of interactive sessions, which would bring the riders very close and let us share our experiences with each other, so that the riding community grows in a positive manner.
Right, right, sir. Okay, guys, so I'm going to end the meeting
I
now.
think I think if you can open up the mics for everybody, if somebody wishes to
Just hold on. Let me open the
open
mic.
up the mics for 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah. Just let me do it for everyone. Participants.
And name the participant one by one, and if he wishes to say anything,
All right.
name the participant.
Thank you,
Yes.
Deepak ji. Thank you so much. We
Namaskar,
have
uncle.
wonderful.
Namaskar.
We had a wonderful time in this meeting, and thank you, Care My Tours, for organizing this. And we
Welcome, sir.
will definitely remain in touch and share our experiences. Thank you once again.
No, we can.
Yes, anybody else wishes to say something?
Hi, my name is Gopal Krishnan Poti. Thank you very much for the valuable information, CMT as well as Deepak ji. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. So stay home, stay safe, and we hope everything gets sorted out very soon, and we are back on our motorcycles and see you on the road now.
Yes,
Everyone.
certainly we are waiting for that moment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys,
Eagerly waiting for that. Eagerly waiting for that.
and wish to catch you sometime somewhere on the road.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Done, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.